What's up, guys? GP here, back with another episode. And today I'm talking about my trip last weekend to Chicago. I meant to, and by the way, I'm actually in an undisclosed location this week. I don't know. I got some Swift Lifts by Verano, and I got it from the Herbal Care Center over in Chicago. I don't know where I'm allowed to take these products and smoke them, so I am in an undisclosed location, but I am very excited to smoke this with you guys and talk to you guys about my trip to Chicago, because it was an exciting time. It was a very exciting time. It was very eye-opening. It was eye-opening, to say the least. In the culture sense, in the city sense, the state sense, and in the weed sense. What the weed culture is like out there in Chicago, what the weed quality is like out there in Chicago, in the state of Illinois. It's interesting. It's very interesting. So today, guys, I have loaded up in the bowl because I walked. If you guys have been to Chicago, you walk a lot, you know. I walked miles. I was on the L, on and off of it. And I walked very, very far. And with that being said, these pre-rolls, there's a 5-pack that came in these Swift Lifts. They were like maybe .25s or whatever. And it is Kosher Dog. That is the name of the strain. I have the receipt right here, which I'll get into because I want to talk to you guys about these goddamn taxes. But regardless, that's what I'll be smoking on today. Some of this Kosher Dog from the Herbal Center, and it was a cool place. I mean, I got this hat from there, nice dad hat, you know what I'm saying? And I took these pre-rolls around the city, and I only had one left. And with them being shook up in my pocket, I brought up all that walking and everything, because with them being shook up in my pocket, really just one of the J's got loose, and the flour started to like break through some, and there was flour like at the bottom of this. So what I've done is loaded it into the glass over here, and that's what I'll be hitting, talking to you a little bit about the quality of the flour, talking to you a little bit about my experience in the city. I'll talk to you a little bit about the Herbal Care Center over in Chicago, and this isn't sponsored by them. I went there one time, got a hat, spent a lot more money than I expected to spend, if I'm being real with you guys, but have overall enjoyed the products. The gas in Chicago is interesting. It has a specific smell and a specific taste that I had never experienced before. Even when I walked into the dispensary, the smell is different. It's not like walking into a Colorado dispensary. It really isn't. And it's not like most of the black market cannabis that's here, that's of like high quality of the strains and companies that you'll know and stuff like that, is all going to be from California. So that's most of my experience with California bud. But with that being said, it's definitely not bud from California either. They don't have a lot of OGs and stuff like that. Most everything I saw was like 50-50 hybrid, 60-40 hybrids, leaning one way or the other. It was very interesting. Walking to the dispensary, you're not allowed to see any of the bud. They can kind of show it to you a little bit behind the container and stuff, but it can't be out. The way they have pre-rolls packaged, some of them have it like this to where you can't see any of it, but other ones have it kind of like a cigarette box where it opens, but then inside that cigarette box there's still separate containers that the pre-rolls are put into. They have very strict laws. Very, very strict laws. And so, like I said, I was walking around downtown Chicago, chilling, looking at shit, looking at places, looking up north. Trying to stay away from certain areas if you guys haven't been. Trying to keep my hat straight, kind of trying to focus on not wearing certain colors. Chicago's a wild place. Chicago's a wild place for sure. You know, they have a certain culture, and you need to abide by that culture in order to, one, stay safe, and two, just have a good time. You know what I'm saying? And I was learning a lot of that. I've been down south, you know. Most areas are open to me here in Houston. Like, it's a whole different culture up there. There's certain areas you don't go just for whatever reason. A lot of people are going to ask me, I already know about the weed quality there. And like I'm saying, I'm a heavy indica smoker. And even here in Houston, you can find a lot of heavy indicas. But it didn't seem like they had a lot over there. Even on the menu. And if it's on the menu and it was a quality indica, guys, we're talking pre-tax $65 to $70 an eighth. Minimum like $55 an eighth of flower. From the Herbal Care Center, I got some shake just because I wanted to get a decent amount of flour to be able to roll up and stuff like that. I got 7 grams of shake. I think it was, here, I have this receipt right here. $65 for 7 grams of shake. That's not a terrible deal, but you're thinking about that as shake. Like, you're getting better deals for that on flour. You're getting $40, $50 sevens in some states of legal weed. You know what I'm saying? So the prices there were certainly high. And I guess as I have the receipt right here, I'll let you guys know of some of the bullshit they have going on out there. Illinois recreational tax. And then the next line says rec sales tax. How are those not the same thing? Illinois recreational tax, recreational sales tax are two different taxes. And both of them on this receipt are $10. And okay, so guys, when I went to the shop, I got these two things. 5 J's that totaled to 2.5 grams. And 7 grams of shake. Came out to a grand total of $128. Five pre-rolls totaling up to 2.5 grams. And 7 grams of shake. When you add on the Illinois recreational tax, the recreational sales tax, the Cook County tax, and the City of Chicago tax, comes out to $128. So that kind of gives you guys an idea of the prices that we're playing with. You know, the prices that people out there, if you want to go to a dispensary and get legal bud, are paying. So many people in the comments have been saying, you got to get over to Michigan. You got to try to get some of the other states because Chicago is going crazy with those taxes. It's unbelievable. And no quality, not no quality, but no real OGs on the shelf at the stores I went to. If you guys know where to find those quality OG flowers, please direct me to them because I plan on being out in Chicago very soon. And I'll look for them and then I'll talk to them about it for you guys. I won't even lie to you guys. Partially because of where my Airbnb was. But also because everything that I smoked there was kind of sativa leaning a little bit or had a real sativa feeling, that shit had me paranoid sometimes. And mind you, my first time on a train, my first time on a subway, my second time on a bus, guys, this shows you what the South is like. Like, public transportation is an afterthought for me, and that is not to say that no one takes the bus here, but we have like a little metro rail that takes you between 3 miles here in Houston, and it's a fucking 60-mile city, and then but no trains, no subways, nothing like that. Public transportation here isn't the norm like it is in the Midwest and on the East Coast. So these things were also a lot newer to me. Walking to take the train, like being able to walk blocks. Here, I was talking to my girlfriend about that. Like, people going to be giving me directions, walk down 2 blocks and take a left. That's not a Houston direction. I've never heard somebody in Houston tell me to walk ... blocks. No, I haven't ever heard somebody in Houston tell me to walk, and then we can get to ... blocks. Take a left and you'll be there. That's not how Houston works. Houston's drive 10 miles that way, take a left, drive 6 miles that way, and then you'll be close. That's Houston directions. So it was definitely refreshing to have shit close. Like, shit out there is close. I don't even think the people out there realize how close stuff is, because close is relative. Close is the fact that you can walk and train places and it'd be reasonable. Here, to get on a bus and go somewhere can take you some time, depending on how far you want to go. There, you can get all around the city on the train in 30 minutes. So that was an interesting realization with public transportation. And I'm sure people out there hate public transportation. I'm sure they get tired of taking the train, tired of waiting on the subway. But people out here, we'd fiend to have that option. I'd love to be able to get across the city here in Houston on a train. What? Actually, be able to use public transportation to get places? That'd be insane. There's bike lanes everywhere in Chicago. You can bike places. Everybody's biking. It's one of the best biking cities here in America. So there were definitely a lot of advantages and a lot of cool things about seeing the city and about being out there and about being able to just kind of see a new spot and smoke some different type of weed for real. This is some real, I don't know if this is how East Coast weed is. I don't know. I haven't been around there a lot. I haven't smoked a lot of weed out of Boston. I haven't smoked weed out of DC. I haven't smoked weed, and DC's barely East Coast, but you know what I mean? That's more like South, in my opinion, but you know what I'm saying. So it's very interesting to see just the different culture, I had a description for the weed. I said last night, I can't remember what I said, but all the weed, that's what I said. It's the weed is all high pitched. I don't know how to describe it. Maybe y'all do if y'all have been in these situations or smoked any of the weed out there, but it's high pitch. It's the smell wise, it's screaming at you. Taste wise, it's a sharp taste to it. It's everything's sativa leaning is what, and I can't say everything. I got these 2 things, and then I got another couple products from another store, and then I also, I browse menus other places and stuff like that, and it's just not a lot of indica. And I wonder if that's for a certain reason. I wonder if that's by law or by design, because it feels like people like indica stuff. Why is everything hybrid? Why is everything and obviously all strains are hybrid. I know I'm probably going to get some comments, all strains are hybrid, bro, nothing's pure. I get that. But there are more there are strains that are leaning way more indica than sativa. And it seemed like a lot of theirs are riding the border kinda. as for the city, in terms of like, I mean, safety, you know, how safe the city feels. I want to talk about that too. I'll start by saying I've never seen a place segregated like that before. Actually, I have. My college town was like that, but on a mass scale, like such a large separation of people at a like a obvious and large scale. It's unbelievable. That is something that is a drawback to there. Like here, or where I'm from in Houston, it's not like that, you know. Where I'm from in Houston, it's nothing like that. It's not nothing like that. Like there's certain areas where people are gravitated to, but it doesn't feel close to as forced. You know, and I'm sure in certain ways it is forced and stuff like that. But in every area in Houston, like every type of people for the most part resides. There are some areas that are really like white only, for sure. But it's not like it is in Chicago. To where it's like, it's specific. You see, like, no, you go there, you go there, you go there, you go there, and you go there. All right, now it's time for you to move. Now you guys, you go there. Like, that's what it feels like over in Chicago, you know? And it's because it has a lot of diversity. It has a lot of diversity, especially when you're comparing it to other places in the state of Illinois. So it has a lot of diversity, but at the same time, in the way that they separate people, it's very interesting, and they've created a lot of those issues that obviously you hear about in the news, in terms of like their gang culture and stuff like that, and how serious that stuff is. But I'm not somebody to blame people for that being the case. You know, I'm somebody to look at systems and establishments as to what created the outcome. You know, and it is clear that by separating people and depriving people of anything, and in some ways systematically poisoning them, we've gotten to the state of like the safety of being in the city, you know? Because I've read the news stories, everybody's read the news stories. Good God. Literally, I don't know if any of you guys have been seeing those Taliban stories on fucking Twitter where they're eating ice cream and playing in the gym and shit like that. That place looks safer than the fucking Chicago stories be looking, bro. Taliban out there eating ice cream. Chicago stories 50 shot in the last 3 days. What? You don't even hear the same stories. Obviously, Afghanistan's more dangerous, guys. I'm joking. I'm relaxed. I'm joking. But what I'm saying is how it's presented in the news, it looks like you're going into it. Sounds like almost you're going into Afghanistan. You have to understand, for anybody who's watching this from Chicago, like, I tell people down here I'm going there, they're like, what are you doing? Why? Like, they're talking like I'm going into Afghanistan. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, dude, I'm going to be hanging out in fucking Wicker Park, Logan Square, eating, having brunch, chilling. But when you hear about the city, or it's presented in the news, especially outside of the city, it's presented as like the most terrifying place on earth, and it's the third biggest city in America. Like, it has to have more crime than almost everywhere else, is one thing. And two, the news sensationalize everything. And three, it's damn near the most segregated place I've ever seen. And because of that, it has, like, that's just what segregation does when you deprive people of resources. So you see that too, and you see it right next to millionaires. You see millionaires, and then you see nothing. You see a trap, a street over. So you goddamn, it's like when you're a kid and you trying to stay out of the lava. You're the whole bouncing back and forth, like you look down the street. No, that street, we don't go there. But you're good on the street you're on. And then you turn around in the street behind you. Oh yeah, then let's go to brunch on this street. And then you turn down one more street and you have to change the way your hat is situated. You go down another street, you're not supposed to be wearing a color on that street. And you're from somewhere else and you're like, but what the fuck is happening? I was talking to my friend Roy yesterday. He said it perfectly. Like here in Houston, to find the situations that they talk about out there, to where you can just, because of separation out here in Houston, like how far everybody is, you got to go look for trouble. Out there, trouble will find you like that, you know, because of how close everything is. You could, like I'm saying earlier, you can walk 3 blocks, you can walk 4 blocks down the street, and you're in a different world. Here, you have to drive 10 miles, you know, drive forward at least 6 miles, and then you're in a different world. Don't get you wrong, but it happens in a car far. In Chicago, it can happen on foot in seconds. So with that being said, guys, just be careful if you go out there. Know the culture, learn the culture, be open to learning the culture, because it's going to be different, more than likely, from where you're at. Some other Midwest cities might be like that, but if you're from down south, or you're from places that are diverse but kind of mixed, which aren't many places in America, I'm learning. Most places really are segregated like that, you know, most, like, historically, and now with progression, but also like with gentrification and things like that, there's that strange mix of what I was talking about, you know. But it was eye-opening seeing that, you know. It was really telling to, kind of told me and reminded me that where I'm used to living, where I grew up in Houston, is like the exception to a lot of these things, to where there are people mixed everywhere. That's not normal. You know, people of all socioeconomic classes mixed in an area isn't the norm in the United States of America, and that's not what America wants either. It's happening, but it's not really what America wants. So Chicago is an interesting place, to say the least. The weed, obviously, it's cool that it's legal. It's cool that it's accessible. It's cool you can go to the store and get it. It's not cool that it'll break your fucking bank. But I was reading on the signs, if you get medical, it's like a 1% tax or something like that. It's like a minimum 10% tax if you get wrecked. So depending on what products you want, it could go up. I think it was 1% across all products for medical patients. So that is cool, at least. If I had to guess, I would guess that medical patients have access to different types of deals and stuff like that, considering that their taxes are so, like, lowly levied. I don't know. I'm not a medical patient there, so I can't speak on that, but I can say I was just reading the information inside that bitch, and that's what they're telling me. I liked it, though. It's a different type of city, different city than I'm from, but you guys know I like biking, I like walking, I like being out and shit like that. And they got a lot of parks and stuff, so I liked the area for sure. But it was definitely an eye-opening experience being in a city like that. But the Herbal Care Center, it was dope. It was one of the first places I went. Y'all know, as soon as I touched down, I ate, and then I got that. Oh, and I know people are going to ask me also about the deep dish pizza. I know people are going to ask me about, did you try the pizza? Yeah, I tried the pizza. And I went to the famous spots, people call it Lou Monalti, however the fuck you pronounce that. But I went to Lou's, 50-minute wait, couldn't do it, you know, we just kept moving, and we went to another pizza spot downtown, and it was nice, because the difference I realized is here, deep dish means extra bread. There was like a layer of cheese. It was stuffed deep dish. It was a layer of cheese, and then sauce, and then like pepperoni, like thrown all in there, bow, 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 you know what I'm saying? So it was pretty good. I mean, if you like walking lasagna, that was walking lasagna. That's all it is. So it wouldn't be my go-to all the time, but it's a cool option. It's pretty good, you know, for me. I got some really good wings there. I'll say that too. Most of the food I ate there was good. But I know people were always ask, hey, did you try the pizza? It's like going to Philly and people, did you try the cheesesteak? I've tried the Philly cheesesteaks from some of, like, I've been to Ishkabibbles. I've been to some, like, popular places in Philly, if y'all are, like, familiar with Philly. But I'm not a huge Philly cheesesteak fan in general anywhere, regardless if I'm in Philly or wherever the fuck. And as for the weed in Chicago, they gotta do something about the prices. I'd like to see more indica on the streets, some more OGs on the streets. But I also need to try some more products. These Swift lifts were definitely dope. It's super cool, obviously, just to have like 5 minis, and the minis are like the perfect size. It's to pop out. I don't think smoking in public is there legal, so I'm not suggesting that for you guys. But I can't smoke in my Airbnb, so I'm out just trying to just chilling, and people will chill about it. There are other people out smoking and shit like that. It wasn't like you had to hide. Like, there are people out there smoking for sure. To give you all just like a feel of the culture, because it's a huge city. It's like an unpoliceable city, like how other cities are. Like Houston is, how New York is. Like, these cities are just too big, like too many goddamn people. So with that being said, like, you're just walking in crowds everywhere, hella people walking. It's a different type of vibe than I'm used to, but I like it. I like the walking. I like the activity, for real. And just for me, like, it makes it safer for like borderline safer, in my opinion, for like women to be walking. Because like, not borderline, much safer. Like out here, if a woman's walking, she's the only woman on the entire street walking, But if you can get into crowds and stuff like that, it can be more dangerous in some ways, but like during the day, it can a lot of times be a lot safer because there's just so many people around. It's not the same way in a lot of other places, but that's just my take on my first weekend in Chicago. Smoked some weed. Got to see a Banksy exhibit. If you guys are familiar with Banksy, it was pretty dope. Got to see some cool art, definitely. Some cool messages, some cool quotes. It was a fun weekend, And just to give you guys some perspective on how I move, on the type of person I am. Nicole told me she had 3 days off Friday morning, 10 o'clock. I said we should go to Chicago today. Within 2.5 hours, we got a rental car, drove 17 hours. I drove 12 to like St. Louis, and then the rest to Chicago. Was there the next day, and had the weekend and drove 17 back, Just because some things need to be done in life. And sometimes you have to take that opportunity. You have to take that moment. You have to take kind of like that sliver. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if you guys know football, and I don't use a lot of football analogies because I actually don't really like it at this point in my life. But a running back, they get the ball in the backfield. They have to look for an opening, a crease, and they have to like explode through that crease. Like this opportunity to see a new place. It was like kind of that crease, and I had to explode through the crease, to give you guys a little bit of an analogy. I hope you guys explode through creases in your lives. I hope you guys take the time to take a little bit of risk in your life, have some fun, go see somewhere new, jump in a car. If you keep driving, I promise you'll get there. You know what I'm saying? Unless your car breaks, but if you get a good rental, if you can just keep driving, the car will get there. And just remember that. That's what I was saying to myself. I was like, damn, this is far, but if I keep driving, the car will get there. So I encourage you guys to keep driving, because the car will get there.